Hello, my dear students. Welcome to our class today. And of course, we are going to have our grammar lesson today. So let us share with you this presentation right now, okay? I'm going to share the PowerPoint we have for unit number 4. And here you can see it's about future probability and past modal verbs, okay? So I think that you will enjoy these because certain, let's say, structures have been studied before. Let's see first the presentation of these picture. Notice that we concentrate our concept of time in the future, later today, okay? So we may say, it might rain later, okay? In fact, I don't know if you can listen, but it is raining right now here in my neighborhood. But probably it might rain later as well, okay? It's bound to freeze overnight. So it's going to be very cold, so it's bound to freeze overnight. Notice that it's not now, it's going to be in the future. Or the rain will definitely clear, but it'll be clouded for the rest of the day. So this is a prediction, something that may happen. Or the rain should move north and the sun may well come out for a few hours this afternoon. So notice that in all these sentences, we are just expressing future and as well probability, okay? But let's see the second picture. In this case, you can see 3 persons, okay? Family, they are members of the family, but they have different ages, right? You can see here what they say. For instance, this old man is saying right now, I remember the days before TV. We had to make our own entertainment. That is, in the past, we had to make our own entertainment at that time when we didn't have TV, okay? And this man, who is in his 40s, perhaps, he says, the old TV worked perfectly fine. We needn't have bought this new one, okay? We needn't have bought this new one. Why? Because we think that it's useful, or the old TV was useful. Why did we change that? Just because we want to be on the mood, or because we want to follow the, let's say, what it is mother, or what it is on shape? Well, we don't know, okay? Let's see what the younger generation is saying. This new TV only has 50 channels. We should have bought the newer model with 500. So notice that he is claiming to have a better or a different TV, okay? So the old man is remembering something in the past. Let's say the father or the person in the middle, okay, is thinking to have kept his old TV, while the boy is just regretting about the one they bought, and probably they would have bought, or they should have bought a better TV set, okay? Well, that's it. That's what we are going to focus attention on in this lesson. In this case, we are analyzing past models, okay? And let's see what we have for both. Remember, the future, probability, possibility, and then the past models, okay? But before I go on with that, I am going to show you just one, let's say, video, and I hope you can understand what this girl is going to say. Well, I said girl because she is younger than me, but she is a teacher, a very good teacher. Now, let's see. Listen.
I'm Niharika and welcome back to a new lesson. Well, when we talk about future, we are not sure that what's going to happen next, right? There are certain possibilities and probabilities. So in English, we have certain phrases that you can use to talk about these possibilities.
Okay, so the first thing she's saying is that in the future, certain things may happen. We are not sure about what is going to happen, okay? And there are different structures that we may use to show these, let's say, future tense and possibility, okay? Let's see what she is going to say about it.
Now, very often, most of the English speakers end up using modal verbs to do so. Now, modal verbs like can, could, may, might, will, these are the verbs used to show or to give us an idea that something is possible, okay? For example, hey, it can rain tomorrow. It could rain this evening. It may rain tomorrow. It might rain tonight. It will rain tonight. So we are showing that it is possible, it is probable, there is a probability that it might, it can, or it will rain tonight, okay? But then we also have some more expressions that would help you to express possibility in English. So let's have a look.
Okay, and she said that there are other ways, other possibilities to express future and to express possibility in the future in English, okay? And she's right. I'm going to get back to my presentation right now, and I'm going to show you those possible ways of showing possibility in the future. Well, as she said, modal verbs can, may, will, could, might, and should as well. So we may say, if the rain stops, okay, we may well have some sunshine later, because right now it's cloudy, it's raining, we cannot see the sun. But if the rain stops, we may, okay, or we could, or we might, right, have some sunshine later. Well, that's one form. And the second form could be using adverbs. Adverbs like perhaps, maybe, probably, almost certainly, almost definitely, or almost certainly. Sorry, I think I said something else. Then the example we have here, maybe it'll snow later. We could also use adjectives like unlikely or likely to express that probability in the future. And we say, for instance, the temperature is unlikely to rise above 0 degrees. And the last chance is when we use noun phrases that express probability. These are the cases of the likelihood is, the chances are, there is a good chance, there is no doubt, and the odds are. That is the example, the odds are that the species is no longer alive. So notice that in all those cases, we are expressing probability in the future. And let's see those cases in details, all right? So the first thing we are going to have is the way to express modality and for expressing, in this case, probability, okay? And as I said, we are going to use the modal verbs, those that you know, which may express probability. Then these are used to reflect or to, let's say, express that something that it's not true right now, but may happen in the future. It's going to, let's say, be predicted at this time, okay? So there is no, let's say, important different meaning in the use of these modal verbs, okay? They have just slightest shapes of meaning, okay, in the use of each of them. For instance, if you say might, it could be a remote probability, okay? And of course, if you use may or can, they could be, let's say, closer to the fact that it's going to happen, okay? Then, for instance, we can say it may snow later. Or we could also say it could snow later. Or it might snow later. There is no problem. In all of them, we are expressing probability. We are not certain, but we just express that it's possible. It's probable, okay? And we could also use it in negative constructions like might not and may not. In those cases, we express future possibility, but we don't use could in this case, okay? The rumors could be true, but they might not be because we don't use could in the negative form to express probability. What we can do is to use those modal verbs with well. We use may well, might well, could well, to say that something is quite probable. That is, we increase the degree of happening, okay? Then the example could be if sales continue to fall, the company may well close, okay? So notice how interesting is this example, because this is something that's going to happen according to what we have in our sales and, well, the sales of the company, which are as a tendency going down. Then should, which is also used for expressing probability, should describes a situation we expect to happen. That is, expectation is shown in this case. So the roads are clear, so we should arrive on time. There is no traffic at all. We are driving in a, let's say, constant time. So we think that we should arrive on time according to the schedule we have, okay? So notice the way we use the modal verbs, but let's continue with the others. We have, for instance, the case of adverbs like perhaps, may well, okay, maybe, sorry, perhaps, maybe, and the case of almost certainly, almost definitely, right, probably. Those are adverbs, and the adverbs may go in different positions in the sentences. So for instance, we use perhaps and maybe at the beginning of a sentence. We say, maybe one day they'll invent fully automatic cars, right? Or perhaps, we can say that with perhaps. And other adverbs of certainty go before a main verb and after the auxiliary in affirmative sentences. But if it is negative, the auxiliary verb will be after this adverb. And these are the cases. The batteries will probably need, positive, okay? The batteries will probably need to be replaced soon. Or if it is negative, he definitely won't pass the test, okay? I hope we are not talking about you. So you had to pass the test. You had to study very hard. And using the, let's say, adjective likely or unlikely, we should use the linking verb be, okay? In this case, we say the subject plus be plus likely or unlikely, and then the other complement or the clause that will be introduced with that. So we say in that case, the new tablet is likely or maybe unlikely. That depends if it is positive or negative. We can say the new tablet is likely to be launched soon, okay? The new vaccine against COVID-19 is going to be launched soon, okay? So, is likely to be launched soon, okay? In that case, we have used likely because it seems to be real. It seems to be, let's say, natural that it will happen very soon. Then there is another adjective, which is bound. The other adjective of probability, it's bound, okay? And we can also use bound to refer to these, let's say, happening. And the last possibility we have, it's the use of a noun phrase, okay? And with the noun phrase, well, I'm sorry, not only bound, we also have sure. We could also say, or certain. It's certain to freeze tonight, or it's sure to freeze tonight, okay? And the noun phrases, as I was referring before, they are with certain constructions. That is fixed constructions to express this probability with a noun phrase. And of course, they are part of the sentence because we have to complete the idea with them. So we say, for instance, the likelihood is, right? And the example you have there, it could be in your book, it could be the likelihood is that there will be severe thunderstorms tonight, okay, or overnight. So notice that most of these probability are referring to weather conditions because this is the normal way we forecast what is going to happen, okay? Then the second, let's say, important issue we have to explain today, it's the use of modality in the past, okay? But before I start talking about it, let us just focus the attention and remember what modality is. Modal verbs just add modality to the main verb. They could not stand alone. They just give that connotation to the main verb. That's why we use them as special verbs, okay? So modal verbs can express different modalities like ability or possibility with can, or maybe if it is negative, we are expressing inability or impossibility. Or we could also use them for asking permission or request. Could is used for asking permission, request, but also suggestion, future possibility, as we have seen, and ability in the past. Notice that these verbs, okay, and you have here the examples, they express different modality to the main verb. That depends on the context. It's not the same when we say they can control their own budgets. That's the possibility they have. And when we say, can you help me? In that case, we are asking for a request, okay? Well, and the other verbs or modal verbs that you know could be used with different verbs to express other types of modality, like let's say making arrangements, invitations, preferences, suggestions, okay? Or saying what's right, recommendations, necessity, obligation, prohibition, etc. Okay? There are different ways to use the modal verbs in English, okay? And of course, one of them could be to express the, let's say, modality in the past, okay? But they all have the same characteristics. Don't forget that. They never take S in the third person singular. That is, when you use them in the present, you don't change the modal verb. But when you use it in the past, you won't change the modal verb. They do not need any other auxiliary like do, does, or if it is in the past, they do not need it to make the interrogative question. They could be used for, let's say, asking questions. In certain cases, they will use the corresponding form for the, let's say, the grammatical structure they have to use. And we are going to explain that later. They never use to separate the modal verb and the infinitive that follows it. No, when we use to, it's because it's part of the modal verb, like in the case of be able to, need to, have to, ought to, etc. Okay, including be to, certain cases we use that. And they are, let's say, without any conjugation. That is, you cannot use infinitive forms, participle, or different times with the modal verbs, okay? They are used in the way they are, expressing modality to the main verb, okay? Then let's see the cases we have for this unit. We use modal structures for the past in English for different reasons. For instance, when we have to express obligation, we use had to. I had to study to come here. And I had to prepare my lesson to record this video. So notice that in those cases, we were obliged to do something, or the subject would be obliged, and that's why you had to use had to, because it is something that refers to the past or a moment in the past. If it were in the present form, you had to use have to, which is the present form, or must in the present, okay? Of course, for he, she, it, as they are third person singular in the present, you had to use has to. You know that. Then, when you want to express necessity in the past, it should be needed to. In the present tense, you know it is need to. And notice that I have those possible forms in red, okay? They are in red in the present tense, but we are just concentrated on the past tense using modal verbs. And we had explained obligation and necessity, but there are other possibilities like speculation. And for speculation, we use all of them or almost all of them: must, may, might, could, together with have. Notice that after the modal verb, we had to, let's say, use the infinitive form, the verb infinitive form of the main verb. That's why we say could have. But have, it's not a main verb. It's just an auxiliary, a second auxiliary. So we have the modal verb and then have. And then a third verb, which is the main verb. Notice that in this case, we have to use, after the verb have, the past participle of the main verb, okay? So this is just the structure for speculation. And we could say, you must have studied to pass the test, okay? So I am speculating that you had passed the test because you must have studied before. But probably you had, let's say, bright idea and you didn't study at all, just went to your test and you have a good result. But I am not sure about that, okay? So I suggest you study and just try to get the highest grade. Then this is the last possibility, let's say, modality we express, that is advisability, what we want you to warn. Notice that for that we should use should, ought to, plus have, and plus the past participle of the main verb. You can see in present the way we use speculation and advisability, okay? And let's see now what we have. In this case, okay, we are going to practice this, let's say, use of modal verbs. You are going to select the right choice according to the sentences. Notice that when we are referring to the past, what I had explained, when we are referring to the past, okay, we are just concentrated on something that it is not real, something that could have happened, all right, at that time in the past. And let me just show you some examples of those activities or actions that could happen in the past with those, let's say, possible, let's say, modality with the verb. For obligation, we could say, I had to wear a uniform when I was a waiter, like today that we are just teaching using the, let's say, internet, and we had to wear our formal or casual clothes to, let's say, continue with our lessons, okay? Then we had to wear a uniform at that time. Then necessity, in this case, we say needed to. Well, the example, I needed to move because I got a new job in another city. So that was the reason. And concerning speculation, we just say it. For instance, this example, they must have received their exam results by now. That's what we think. So it's not real, it's what we think. But according to the moment we are living on, they must have received their exam results, okay? And in the case of advisability, we may say it, for instance, I should have bought the new version. That's something that I had to had kept in mind, okay? I have I have to have kept in mind that let's say the new version would be better, a better product than the old one. Okay, so we just explain here the uses of the past modals. And in this, let's say, exercise I was explaining to you that we are going to do, you had to focus the attention on modality for the future concerning probability and modality in the past to express the different, let's say, possibilities with those modal verbs. Notice that here in the example, you had to analyze the sentence. If you wanted to stay in that hotel, you have three possibilities: could have, might have, or should have booked before. Which is the correct answer? That's according to what we had explained. So I suggest you read once again this presentation and do this exercise. We have different slides like this one, and this one, and this one, okay? That is 6 sentences in which you had to decide which is the correct form. And that could be our homework for unit number 4. So in our, let's say, lesson, we are going to check that. We have homework for next Sunday. And apart from that, we are going to have this one, which is going to be our homework for this grammar lesson, okay? So that's all for today, and I hope we can see each other next Sunday, okay? I'll see you then. Bye-bye, and study hard. Remember, you will pass the examination, okay? Then that's not only a probability, it's also a fact. I want you to study hard and pass the examination, okay? Bye-bye, I'll see you then. I'm going to stop, okay, right now. Let's say not only sharing with you the presentation, but also recording this lesson. I'll see you on Sunday.